Grab, MGA Kababayan. Sometimes in sports, the scoreboard says one thing, but the story says something completely different. Alex Eala's Wimbledon dream may have ended in the fourth round, but if you watched what happened on that court, you already know this was not a simple loss. This was a moment of respect. This was a moment of pride. This was the kind of moment where even after the final point, you could feel that something bigger had just happened for Alex, for Philippine tennis, and for every Filipino who stayed up, cheered, prayed, and believed that one of our own could stand on one of tennis' biggest stages. Even though the result did not go her way, one thing became very clear. Alex Eala has already earned the respect of the tennis world, and that is not something handed out easily at Wimbledon. You have to earn it, point by point, rally by rally, under pressure, in front of a crowd that knows greatness when it sees it. Alex may have walked away without the win in the fourth round, but she walked away with something extremely powerful: recognition. Fans saw her heart. Players saw her talent. Experts saw her growth. And the world saw a young Filipina who is no longer just a promising name for the future. She is already becoming one of the most exciting stories in women's tennis right now. From the opening round until her final match, Alex showed a kind of confidence and maturity that made people stop and pay attention. She did not play like someone just happy to be there. She played like someone who believed she belonged there. Every match became another proof that her game is getting stronger, her mind is getting sharper, and her confidence is growing with every challenge. For Filipino fans, that is what made this run so special. It was not only about winning matches. It was about seeing Alex carry herself with calmness, courage, and that familiar Pinoy fighting spirit that refuses to disappear even when the pressure gets heavy. And let's be honest, Wimbledon is different. This is not just any tournament. This is one of the most respected stages in all of sports. The grass, the tradition, the crowd, the silence before every serve, the pressure of every point. Everything feels bigger there. So for Alex to perform the way she did against high-level competition under that kind of spotlight says a lot about where she is going. She did not look intimidated. She did not look lost. She looked ready to learn, ready to fight, and ready to prove that she can compete with the best players in the world. What made her final Wimbledon appearance even more emotional was the atmosphere around the match. The stands were packed with attention and energy. Celebrities, well-known personalities, former champions, and tennis stars were there to witness the battle. That alone tells you how much interest Alex has created. When people from across the tennis world come to watch, it means they know something special is happening. Alex Eala has become one of the most talked-about rising stars in women's tennis, and this Wimbledon run only made that spotlight brighter. For a young player from the Philippines, that kind of attention is huge. Tennis has not always been the #1 sport back home. We grew up with basketball, boxing, volleyball, and billiards taking so much space in Filipino sports culture. But now, Alex is giving young Filipinos another dream to believe in. She is showing that tennis can also be a place where Filipinos belong. She is showing that with discipline, training, sacrifice, and belief, a player from our country can step into a Grand Slam and make the whole world watch. But the most unforgettable moment came after the match ended. Usually, when a player loses, the attention quickly moves to the winner. The cameras follow the celebration. The crowd moves on. The headlines focus on who advanced. But this time, something different happened. Instead of only celebrating the result, the crowd stood up for Alex Eala. They rose from their seats and gave her a heartfelt standing ovation. Just imagine that scene for a moment. Wimbledon fans, people who understand tennis deeply, standing and applauding a player who had just lost because they knew they had witnessed something worthy of respect. That applause was not just noise. It was a message. It was the crowd saying, "We see you." It was Wimbledon saying, "You earned this." It was the tennis world recognizing Alex not only for her skills, but for her determination, humility, and courage throughout the tournament. For any player, receiving a standing ovation at Wimbledon is one of the greatest signs of respect. For Alex, it was proof that even in defeat, she had won something powerful. She had won hearts. And that is the beauty of sports, mga kababayan. Sometimes victory is not only found in the final score. Sometimes victory is found in the way you fight. Sometimes it is found in the respect you earn from the crowd. Sometimes it is found in the way people remember your courage long after the match is over. Alex did not need a trophy in that moment to prove her value. Her performance, her attitude, and her presence on that court already said everything. What makes this even more exciting is that Alex is still improving. You can see it in the way she moves. You can see it in the way she handles pressure. You can see it in the way she stays composed, even when the match becomes difficult. Every tournament is adding something to her game. Every tough opponent is teaching her something new. Every painful loss is giving her experience that can become fuel for the next breakthrough. That is why this Wimbledon ending does not feel like a closing chapter. It feels like the beginning of something bigger. Yes, her campaign ended in the fourth round. But in many ways, her real journey at the top level is only beginning. She leaves Wimbledon with more confidence, more experience, and a stronger belief that she can compete with the world's best. And that belief matters. Once a young player realizes she belongs on these stages, everything changes. The fear starts to fade. The pressure becomes more familiar. The big courts feel less impossible. And suddenly, the goals that once looked far away begin to feel within reach. For the Philippines, Alex Eala continues to be a source of inspiration. She has become more than just an athlete competing abroad. She has become a symbol of what Filipino talent can do when given the chance to grow, compete, and dream without limits. Millions of young athletes can look at her and say, "Kung kaya niya, maybe kaya ko rin." That is powerful. That is how one athlete can open doors for the next generation. Her Wimbledon run showed young Filipinos that international success is not reserved only for bigger countries with longer tennis traditions. It showed that discipline matters, sacrifice matters, mental toughness matters, and most of all, belief matters. Alex did not reach this point by accident. She worked for it. She trained for it. She kept going through setbacks, expectations, and pressure. And now the world is beginning to understand what Filipino fans have known for a long time. Alex Eala is special. The future is incredibly exciting for her. If she continues improving at this pace, there is every reason to believe that deeper Grand Slam runs are possible. Quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. These are not impossible dreams anymore. And yes, maybe one day, even a Grand Slam championship trophy could be within reach. Of course, the road will not be easy. Tennis is a tough sport. Every round gets harder. Every opponent studies your game. Every step forward comes with more pressure. But Alex has already shown that she has the heart and the talent to keep climbing. What matters now is patience, support, and belief. She does not need to prove everything in one tournament. She does not need to carry impossible expectations every time she plays. What she needs is time to keep growing, keep learning, and keep building. Because if this Wimbledon run taught us anything, it is that Alex Eala's ceiling is very high. She has the tools. She has the fighting spirit. She has the humility to improve. And she has a nation behind her. So yes, the Wimbledon dream ended in the fourth round. But the respect? That only grew stronger. The belief? That became even deeper. The story? That is just getting started. Alex Eala left Wimbledon with applause echoing around the stadium, with fans around the world talking about her, and with millions of Filipinos feeling proud. That is not a small thing. That is a milestone. That is a statement. Now the question is, what comes next for Alex? Has she already proven that she belongs among the best players in the world? Can this Wimbledon experience become the foundation for an even bigger breakthrough in the coming years? One thing is certain, the tennis world will be watching her more closely from now on, and for every Filipino who believes in her journey, this is not the time to feel sad. This is the time to feel proud. Because Alex Eala did not just play at Wimbledon. She made Wimbledon respect her. She made the Philippines stand up. And most importantly, she reminded everyone that sometimes, even when the run ends, the real story is only beginning.